Hey everyone, welcome to Reality TV News Update, the place where we bring you the latest updates, fun moments, and behind-the-scenes stories you won't want to miss. The studio lights glow warm against the winter night outside. Snow drifts softly past tall glass windows, while inside familiar faces begin to gather again. It has been years since most of them stood in the same room together. Life pulled them in different directions, with new careers, new heartbreaks, and new victories. Yet tonight, they return for a reason that feels larger than nostalgia. They return to tell a Christmas story, their own way. No one knows exactly what to expect when the reunion is announced. Fans only read a simple message. Watch the cast reunite for their own twist on the Christmas classic. Link below. That is all it takes for the internet to erupt with theories, excitement, and doubt. Some wonder who will appear. Others question if old rivalries will reignite. Many simply hope the magic still exists. The first to arrive is the quiet strategist of the group. He steps through the studio doors with careful eyes and a calm smile. The years have softened his edges, but the mind behind those eyes remains sharp. He pauses to take in the lights, the decorations, the long table covered in fake snow and shimmering stars. For a moment, he feels like he has stepped into memory itself. Soon after, the laughter enters before the people do. Two former rivals walk in together, now older, wiser, and somehow closer than they ever were during their turbulent season. They exchange a brief glance, filled with shared history, then burst into laughter at the absurdity of it all. They cannot believe they are back in the same room after everything. One by one they arrive. The rebel with the wild reputation enters with a quiet confidence that surprises everyone. The sweetheart of the season follows with the same warm smile that once won over millions. The underdog arrives last and hesitates at the door as if unsure whether the past will welcome them back. When the others notice, they rush forward without words and pull them into a group embrace. Not everyone is there. A few names are missing. Some chose not to return. Some could not. Some bridges remain broken. The group acknowledges this with silence rather than bitterness. Tonight is not about who stayed away. Tonight is about who showed up. The director steps onto the floor and explains the concept. They will not simply reenact a Christmas story. They will reshape one. Each of them will carry pieces of their own journey into the roles. There is no rigid script, only a loose outline of hope, loss, redemption, and reunion. The rest will come from them. They gather in a circle as roles are assigned, almost playfully. The former mastermind becomes the unlikely hero. The once fiery villain becomes a guide of wisdom. The rebel is given the role of protector. The sweetheart takes on the role of lost hope, searching for meaning. The underdog becomes the heart of the story. As costumes are brought out, laughter ripples across the studio. Nothing matches perfectly. Capes hang too long, crowns tilt sideways, scarves tangle around microphones. Yet it only adds to the charm. They look at one another not as competitive players, but as storytellers, standing side by side. When filming begins, the room falls to a hush. The story opens in a town forgotten by time. Snow falls endlessly, and the people inside move through their days with heavy hearts. The hero walks alone through empty streets, carrying a burden no one else can see. He searches for something he does not yet understand. The sweetheart appears as a fading light in the town square. Once she brought warmth and joy, but now her song has nearly vanished. People pass her without noticing, and she wonders if she still matters at all. The guide appears beside the fountain with a cloak of silver and eyes filled with knowing. He speaks of paths not taken and choices not yet made. He tells the hero that Christmas does not arrive through gifts or storms, but through courage and forgiveness. Meanwhile, the protector watches from the rooftops, guarding the town from dangers unseen. Shadows creep at the edges of the story in the form of doubt, fear, and regret. The protector stands ready, not with violence, but with loyalty. The heart of the town is the underdog who works quietly to keep the old clock running. The clock has not chimed in many years. Without its sound, the town has lost its rhythm. The underdog believes that if the clock strikes again, everything might change. As the scenes unfold, something deeper begins to happen off-camera. Lines between performance and reality blur. When the hero speaks of regret, it echoes the real apologies he never said years ago. When the sweetheart sings of fading hope, her voice shakes with memories of struggle beyond the show. When the protector stands guard, it reflects battles fought after fame faded. Between takes, they sit together, wrapped in blankets and sip warm drinks. They talk about children, careers, losses, and quiet moments no one ever saw online. Old grudges melt, without needing to be named. The room grows warmer with every shared story. The missing cast members are felt most strongly during a scene of remembrance. The guide speaks of souls who journey elsewhere. The camera lingers on empty space where others might have stood. Eyes glisten. No one looks away. As the story nears its turning point, the town faces its darkest hour. The clock stops completely. The sweetheart loses her song. The hero collapses beneath the weight of his fear. The protector is forced to choose between guarding the town and saving one single soul. The guide steps forward and reminds them that Christmas is not about perfection, but about choosing again after failure. In the climactic moment, the underdog climbs the clock tower through wind and snow. Their hands shake, their steps slip. Below, the town waits in silent fear. Above, the storm howls with doubt. With one final effort, the underdog reaches the frozen mechanism and strikes it with open palms. At first, nothing happens. Then, a single deep chime echoes through the night. The sound rolls across the rooftops and through the streets. Windows light one by one. The sweetheart feels warmth return to her chest and begins to sing again, not loudly but with strength. The hero rises and sets down the burden he has carried alone for too long. The protector lowers their guard and allows themselves to rest. The guide smiles and fades into the falling snow. The clock continues to chime, and with every tone, the town awakens. People step outside and look at one another, as if seeing familiar faces for the first time. Joy spreads quietly but deeply. When the final scene ends, the room remains silent for a heartbeat, and then applause erupts. Crew members cheer. Some wipe tears. The cast stands together, unsure whether they are bowing as actors or as something much more real. After filming, they sit beneath the glowing set tree late into the night. There is no competition here, no game, no prize, only time shared without pressure. They speak about the missing ones with love instead of anger. They speak about mistakes with honesty. They laugh about how young they once were. They forgive without making speeches. For many of them, it is the first time they truly feel closure. Outside, the snow continues to fall. Inside, the warmth grows stronger. By morning, the reunion has already begun to ripple across the world. Clips spread across screens large and small. Fans watch with stunned smiles. Some cry, some laugh, some feel healed in quiet ways they did not expect. They see not just a holiday performance, but a living reminder that reunion does not erase pain, but it transforms it. That Christmas magic can be imperfect and still powerful. That people who once stood on opposite sides of everything can one day stand together and tell a story of light. The cast members return to their lives changed in subtle ways. The hero sends a long overdue message of peace to someone from his past. The sweetheart writes new music without fear. The protector finally takes a long-needed rest. The guide moves on, knowing his words linger. The underdog feels seen for the first time. And though the world calls it just a reunion special, just a holiday project, just a nostalgic moment, those who stood beneath those studio lights know the truth. For one winter night, they did not simply play roles. They rewrote old chapters. They rang a clock that had been silent in their hearts. They gave one another the gift that no wrapped box could ever hold. They gave each
doors
other
open
Christmas.
to a quiet winter night filled with falling snow and soft white light. Inside, the familiar stage waits, dressed like a dream of Christmas with glowing trees, wooden cottages, and a painted sky heavy with stars. It has been a long time since most of them stood together in this place. Years passed like pages turning fast. Life carried them through triumph, loss, distance, and growth. Now they return for something unexpected. The announcement was simple. Watch the cast reunite, well, most of the cast, for their own twist on the Christmas classic. Link below. That single message set hearts racing across the world. Some felt excitement. Others felt worry. Many wondered who would truly return and who might remain only a memory. The first to arrive is the one who once led with strategy and silence. He steps inside slowly, his breath visible in the cold air left behind at the door. He looks around with quiet wonder. The lights feel brighter than he remembers. The room feels larger and smaller all at once. Soon the laughter arrives before the people again, just as it always did. Two former rivals enter together, now sharing smiles instead of sharp words. Their footsteps echo across the stage, and for a moment they stop moving, as if unsure whether the past will welcome them. Then they laugh, and the tension breaks. More follow. The bold rebel enters with calmer eyes and steady steps. The one who once wore kindness like armor brings the same warm smile that once softened every room. The underdog appears last, standing in the doorway, unsure if this place still belongs to them. The others notice at once and cross the distance without a word and pull them into a circle of arms and quiet laughter. Not everyone is there. Empty spaces remain, unspoken but deeply felt. Some are missing by choice, some by circumstance, some by wounds that time has not yet closed. No one explains it, the absence speaks for itself. The director gathers them at the center of the set and explains the vision. They will not simply retell a Christmas story, they will reshape it with pieces of their real journey. There will be no strict script, only the bones of a tale about loss, hope, distance, and reunion. The rest will come from their voices. Roles are given gently. The former mastermind becomes the traveler, searching for meaning. The once feared villain becomes the quiet guide. The rebel is chosen as the guardian of the unseen edges. The kind heart takes the role of fading light. The underdog becomes the keeper of the final miracle. Costumes feel playful and imperfect. Cloaks hang unevenly, crowns tilt, boots do not match. Scarves tangle in microphones, they laugh at themselves, and in that laughter, something heavy lifts from the air. Filming begins and silence falls. The story opens on the town buried under endless snow, where Christmas has not truly arrived for many years. The traveler walks alone through drifting white streets, carrying regret like unseen weight. He does not know why he left or why he returned, only that something inside remains unfinished. The fading light stands in the town square trying to sing warmth back into the frozen air. Her voice trembles with doubt. People pass her as if they no longer believe in what she once gave them. The guide waits beside an old stone well, looking older than time and softer than memory. He tells the traveler that some journeys begin at the place we most wish to avoid. He speaks of forgiveness, not as absolution, but as release. The guardian watches from the rooftops, tracking shadows of fear that move between the people. These shadows carry whispered failures and forgotten promises. The guardian does not fight them with force, but with presence. Deep inside the tower, the underdog keeps an ancient clock alive. It has not sounded in many seasons. Without it, the town feels unanchored, drifting through days without heartbeat. The underdog believes if the clock chimes again, Christmas will remember the town. Between takes, reality seeps into the fiction. They sit wrapped in blankets, sharing warm drinks and stories that never reach the public eye. They speak of children born in quiet miracle, of losses that never made headlines, of moments they wish they could erase, and moments they wish they had held longer. Eyes soften, old resentments loosen without argument. The room grows warmer, not from heaters, but from understanding. The missing cast members are felt during a scene of memory. The guide speaks of those who walked other paths. The camera drifts towards space where others might have stood. No one speaks, but many hearts answer. The story darkens as the town reaches its breaking point. The fading light loses her voice completely. The traveler falls beneath the weight of his past. The shadows grow bold, and the guardian is forced to choose between protecting the town and saving the traveler alone. The clock inside the tower slows nearly to silence. The guide steps forward one last time and reminds them that Christmas is not a reward for the blameless, but a promise for the willing. He tells them that broken things do not need to be perfect to still be full of light. The underdog climbs the tower through rising wind and stinging snow. Each step is heavy with doubt. The gears are frozen solid. The town waits below without sound. The underdog strikes the mechanism with trembling hands. Nothing happens. Then a single deep chime echoes through the night. Light spills from windows, one by one. The fading light feels warmth flood back into her chest, and her voice returns steady and clear. The traveler stands again and sets down the burden he never needed to carry alone. The guardian steps back from the edge and finally rests. The guide smiles and fades into snow. The clock continues to ring, and with every sound, the town remembers how to hope. People step into the streets and look at one another as if seeing old friends for the first time. Joy spreads softly but surely. When the final scene ends, the silence holds for a moment, then breaks into applause. Crew members cheer through wet eyes. The cast stands together, unsure whether they are closing a performance or a chapter of their own lives. Later, they sit beneath the glowing tree long after filming ends. There are no titles here, no rivalries, no game, only shared warmth. They speak of the absent with kindness. They speak of mistakes without fear. They laugh at their younger selves. Forgiveness arrives without proclamation. Closure settles quietly. Outside, the snow falls without stopping. Inside, something ends and something begins at the same time. By morning, the reunion spreads across screens around the world. Fans watch and feel something unexpected stir inside them. They see not just a holiday twist, but a living reminder that reunion does not undo the past, but it reshapes it. That Christmas magic can be imperfect and still healing. That people once divided can return and tell a story of light together. They leave the studio changed in ways too subtle for cameras to capture. The traveler sends a message long delayed. The fading light writes a song without fear. The guardian finally rests. The guide moves on, knowing his words remain. The underdog walks into the world knowing they were the miracle all along. And though the world may call it only a reunion special, only a seasonal performance, only a nostalgic moment, those who stood beneath that snow-lit stage know the truth. For one winter night, they did not just act, they remembered. They forgave. They rang a silent clock back to life. They gave one another Christmas.